What a day that was. Hope you guys are all right there. And if you've been watching trends and using stops, I know you are. That's a big part of technical analysis. The psychology game is challenging. That is why we use TA and these price levels and price action to help us on these big red days. Speaking of big red days, let's take a look at our TCG tickers. These are 5 tickers that are selected by members of the community. If you like this sort of analysis, we do this all day, every day inside Chart Guys. You want to check out BA, the 5-minute time frame. Right before you make a trade, you post that ticker. We take a look at it. We give you some feedback. That's how it works. And there's thousands of people in the community that are doing this in real time. It's wonderful. All right, so let's take a look at BA on the daily time frame. Obviously, we got a lot of downside momentum. We have big three really big days, and there's a lot of action toward the downside. We're not seeing anything on the daily time frame that would indicate a volume climax. It's all pretty much on par with each other over the last couple of weeks. RSI is 52.10 on the daily, so we have support at 142.94. We have EMA 26 or support at 164.46. And the big important thing is, where are we going to start to get our oversold bounces? So what we need to do is go into our sub timeframes to start to look for signs of slowdown. So far on the 4-hour time frame, we've blown through every support that we have seen. We have maybe a bit of hourly support at 149.50. On our 4-hour time frame, we're not yet oversold. We haven't even seen a green candlestick so far. So that means that there's still some room to go. 37.34 is our 4-hour time frame. Best case scenario, I would see we see a jump to our EMA 26 or EMA 12 resistance, whatever that comes up to be. And if we can go look for some former resistance right around there, 188.60 seems like a logical place for us to hit those EMA levels on the next rotation of the candlestick. So a possible area if this is where we're going to see a bounce start to form. On the hourly time frame, we have taken a little bit of time with the stair step action down, hitting our lows and our EMA 12 as resistance, which allows this RSI time to cool off. That is why we are still going down, but our RSI is generally just going sideways. So not positive divergence quite yet. We're still seeing lower highs, lower lows, and this is the first thing that we're going to have to see change in order to get any sort of concrete action. Even on the 15-minute time frame, we're seeing these drops into oversold conditions, sideways style bounces, and no real follow through. So it's all about the trend change. And right now on the 50-minute time frame, we got ourselves a nice 5-minute trend, but it's likely the most likely outcome is going to be continuation. So hitting our EMA 26 and then dropping, allowing this 5-minute ascending wedge type formation to see follow through the downside. This is the consolidation that we expect to see when we're in a downtrend. So everything is looking bearish at this point. At a minimum, tomorrow on BA, I would need us to, well, we're going to have to cover a lot of ground. Basically, I would need to see us over 192.18 to change the hourly trend. There is some other trends here and some levels that we can utilize, but the most likely outcome is going to be a lower high, a possibly a higher low before changing the course on the daily. So that is what I'll be looking at for BA. WORK, let's clear some levels here because we have blown through our supports. A little bit of a stronger position than BA because we took more time to consolidate and build up basis of support. 28.72 is what I'm watching on the daily time frame. RSI is very comfortable. Below that, we have some daily support at 25.32. On the 4-hour time frame, we see that we have a little bit of bullish divergence on our RSI, but that is largely due to the fact that we had a nice little attempted breakout, rejection from our EMA 26, and we're setting higher highs for most of the last, 72 hours following this big drop. But overall, we are still in a downtrend on the 4-hour time frame with brief periods of hourly uptrend. So we're going to look at the hourly time frame and see what's going on here. Here's a rejection from new highs, sell off for most of the day. Now we're going sideways. RSI is content where it is. So similar situation as we saw on BA. I need to see some hourly trend changes right now. 32.75 is the target I would be looking for. I don't see any strength on the 15-minute time frame, just a lot of sideways chop. And we need to set some clear levels, develop some trends to give us an indication of what's going to happen. If somehow bulls show up and break through 32.75, the only resistance that I really would pay much attention to would be 33.60. That is the high of June 5th. Beyond that, we've got a nice little area we can plow through pretty quickly on the hourly time frame without much resistance in the way. AMD, this is a bearish candlestick if I've ever seen one, and these ones are always easier to read in retrospect. But if we looked at yesterday's candle, huge upper wick, huge profit taking. Bulls just reach for the sky and then they're basically pulled an Icarus and we're crashing down. So looking for support. I see a basis support around 52.01. Looks like we've got a double bottom in that area. And 49.09 is the support under that. A lot of bear momentum. We dropped really, really quickly. So we're going to be looking for oversold bounce conditions. Look at that. Perfect. I don't know what that pattern is. Diamond, something. But straight up, straight back down. Looking for a little bit of a bounce now. Pretty standard volume over the past 3 days. RSI is not oversold. So what we could be looking for is going to be an hourly counter trend against this 4-hour downtrend. Here we see a lot of 15-minute higher lows. We'll look at that in more detail, but right now bulls need to get over 54.90. There's a lot of work to go, so the most likely outcome in the hourly is going to be a lower high. If we reject from our EMA 12, that's a perfect 12.26 downtrend. Let's take a look at that 15-minute time frame, and these are the lower highs and the higher lows. Lower highs and lower lows that I'm looking at the 15, and even this, not a very beautiful trend. Just a straight drop. Currently rejecting from our EMA 26 on the 15. So key levels for me, 52.01, 49.09 at the upside, 54.90. ROKU on the daily. A little bit of a tighter formation here, so we still have this big basis support. Let's adjust this a little bit, because really I'm concerned about 119, and on the upside we've got 116.28. So a little bit of a broadening range here. If the bulls can maintain a higher low over 119, this will set up nicely for a potential SPY recovery if and when that comes. So far, we just see this expanding range. So the bulls still definitely need to establish that higher low in the daily before we can be confident in looking for any sort of reversal. Hourly time frame very much for the bears right now because we have so much room to work with. Anything underneath the high of day yesterday is going to be a lower high in the hourly. The most likely outcome, I suspect, would be a rejection from somewhere just above the EMA 26 because we do have a little bit less room to work with and a lot more room to work with before we hit that higher high situation. Shop, last ticker we'll do today. We see some downside momentum today, and then we've got support at 702.02. Reasonable volume. This is not a mind-blowing amount of volume here. So it really comes down to where do we open tomorrow. On the hourly time frame, we can see that we have tried to break to new highs, higher highs, lower lows, higher highs, lower lows, opening that broadening formation. With broadening formations comes instability and volatility. So right now we are in a hourly downtrend, setting these lower lows consecutively. We can go to the 15-minute time frame to try to look for some sort of trend changes. And I would look for a break over 738.27 to indicate some short-term bull strength. If we open right above 702.02 and the market is looking a little more favorable, I might look for a flush and try to get into a little bit of bounce off that level. Otherwise, not a lot in the 15-minute as far as clarity goes. And really, we need to look for the 4-hour time frame in this overall tightening range to give us any bit of hope. Anything over 702.02, ideally, even over this flush to 708.01 is going to be the best possible entry for us to try and catch a little bit of upside action and with some potential bull strength, a break to new higher highs. That's the optimistic view. Let's see if it works out. Good luck to you guys tomorrow, and keep your stops very, very tight.